By the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something.
The blow didn't come with missiles or troops, but with words. On January 3, 2026, during a press conference in the United States, Donald Trump once again put Mexico at the center of a storm, mixing drug trafficking, sovereignty, and threat. The cartels run Mexico, he said with the same blunt force he has used before when talking about walls and enemies. And he capped it with an unsettling line. Something will have to be done about Mexico. The insinuation hung in the air, and the military option, though not explicit, returned to the horizon. The context amplified the impact. The United States is facing a persistent fentanyl crisis, while Mexico carries years of criminal violence, recent high-profile captures, and social pressure that hasn't let up. Trump's words didn't come out of nowhere. They revived an old debate many thought was buried: direct intervention against the cartels on Mexican soil. In fact, the president laid it out openly.
Well, I like Claudia. I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offer to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid.
The response crossed the border almost immediately. The next day, from the National Palace, President Claudia Sheinbaum took a firm stance. She said Mexico is a sovereign country, and no military intervention by any other nation will be allowed.
La declaración de ayer del presidente Trump y la situación en Venezuela, reiteramos la posición de México, acorde con la Constitución, de no intervención, no injerencia extranjera.
For the president, the fight against drug trafficking must be based on cooperation, shared intelligence, and mutual respect, not unilateral impositions. It was a message aimed both at Washington and at domestic public opinion. By January 6th, the clash had already become a binational agenda. Media, analysts, and governments spoke of a political escalation that, for now, is being fought on the terrain of discourse. Sheinbaum even referred to Trump's remarks about being afraid of the cartels and stated,
Son formas de hablar del presidente Trump. Yo no creo en la invasión, no creo ni siquiera que sea algo que ellos lo estén tomando muy en serio.
But the contrast was clear and almost cinematic. On one side, Trump, the leader who portrays Mexico as a state overwhelmed, who justifies extreme actions in the name of national security and returns to the tough hand narrative. On the other, Sheinbaum, the figure who draws a line, who pushes back without theatrics and makes sovereignty the red line. Intervention versus cooperation, warlike rhetoric versus institutional language. The cartels run Mexico versus Mexico chooses its own path. For now, the conflict isn't measured in gunfire or operations, but in statements. Yet it leaves a question. How far can a war escalate when it's still being fought with words?